All right, what's up, y'all? Let's go just a titch this direction. I'm gonna stand up. Hello, hi, hello, hi, hello, hi, hello, hi. I'm gonna sit down. My name is Evan Strong, the founder of In the Image Clothing Company. Today is the 27th of July, 2026. This is a video under the main site of In the Image Clothing Company, one of our fourths to us, where our slogan is allowing the body to work. The literal word of clothing, anything physically placed onto the human being. You just about can't get away from it, can you? The surrounding sounds. Glasses, hats, pants, shoes, socks, tops, undergarments, jewelry, anything in between. Shoes, if I didn't say it. Something placed over your shoulder, literally clothing your body. The way that God clothes the fields with grass, as it says in the Holy Bible, we are human beings designed in the image of God, in the image of Jesus Christ. Here's your clothing company, our 5-word company name, In the Image Clothing Company. The human body truly is just measurable mathematical degrees of hinges, levers, and rotations, determined by the shape and length of our own individual bones, connecting to each other directly through ligaments. The bones are extremely specific in their shape and length, and they just have to mesh together properly. So there truly is only one way the human body could ever work, working with universal laws, physics outside of all of us, like this vertical pull to gravity that comes down and meshes with the horizontal surface of the planet Earth. Well, this is a 90-degree right perpendicular angle, and the body is just placed on the surface of the planet Earth. And the vertical pull to gravity meshes with the centered line of the body. A centered vertical pull to gravity, okay? The sternum, the spine, the trachea, the nose, the jaw of the human being. All these things are in the centered line. Just some of the things in the center of the body. And the jaw stabilizes the entire body with musculature up to the crown of the head from the lower jawbone, called the mandible, down to the upper ribs and out to the edges of our shoulders, and watch the collar of my top and my necklace move as I contract the musculature of my jaw. More than just it naturally stabilizing my entire body with this ball of weight that is our head on top of the human being. Okay. All this meshing with Earth's vertical gravity pull. There truly is only one way the human body could ever work. It's always been the exact same, but always will be. There's no possible opinion to it, and it's not a claim. We have even opposing musculature from the right side and the left side, or from the left side and the right side into the center line of the body to just keep us supported. Okay, the body has a neutral position to every function within it, determined by how the bones mesh and the only way they can move together at the literal joining parts of the bones, or the joints of bones. Opposing musculature to every function pulls on either side to stabilize us in a neutral position. Even just standing up, we either lean left or lean right, and we stabilize in the center with Earth's vertical gravity pull. This video's title, on the 27th of July 2026, under In the Image Clothing Company's main site here, is one side of the body accommodates for the other side of the body. Okay? Let's talk about this. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. There's a lot of things going on in the body, and the literal word of clothing the body with anything can get in our way. So at very baseline, clothing needs to at least stay centered with the center line of the body and Earth's vertical centered gravity pull. Fit correct, things like joints of material of clothing meshing with joints of body parts, okay? And be made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials, because that's all that exists. Until human beings take natural things and alter them into unnatural things, they will always decompose back to natural things anyway. The human body is literally all that we've eaten, that's it. It grows because we eat plants that grew from the earth, or animals that ate plants that grew from the earth. It becomes the human being until we die. Then the body decomposes back into the planet Earth. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Okay, truly, I mean it. It's mathematics. There's no opinion to it. You can measure it mathematically. So let's talk about it, though, because there are two sides to the body. And one side of the body accommodates for the other side of the body. Okay? And vice versa. right to left or left to right. Yeah, this video is titled the 27th of July 2026 under In the Image Clothing Company's main site, spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder and leader for life of In the Image Clothing Company. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. So let's show some things here. But the point is, if we've got imbalances in clothing, well, you don't have to think of it as fashion. You don't have to even think of it as the word of what you think when you think clothing. But something physically placed onto the body at all, it's physically placed onto the body. And so gravity, having the same effect on our clothing that it has on our bodies, will pull down on any kind of imbalance in our clothing. But also things like in modern 2026 and going forth, if we've got robots that stitch our clothing, okay, and they stitch rotations into the seams of the clothing, when the body's got its own rotations from right to left. And that's part of this video's title, explanation, on the 27th of July, 2026, under In the Image Clothing Company's main site. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. Well, we've got rotations in the body, internal rotation or external rotation, like in the entire arm from the fingertips up to the shoulder. When we straighten the elbow between the hand and shoulder, it all just does the same thing if it's just in its neutral position in all the ways, the body just working as if it was never altered, like the babies into toddler age, and then we get older and we get altered. We get into chronic patterning as human beings, living in this modern man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. A lot of things damage our bodies, but we've got this thing we call clothing, literally, physically placed onto our bodies. And one of the big things is rotations in things like seams, like the side seams coming down the sides of our clothing, whether it's down the pants or down the top items of clothing, seams, you know, the body will rotate. So the right side has its own internal or external rotation in the entire arm, rotating or twisting, pivoting around the center point of the entire arm inward, or rotating or pivoting around the center point of this entire arm outward. Okay, and then the left arm, the same thing, internal rotation or external rotation from the fingertips up to the shoulder. If the elbow's straight, the entire arm's just one straight line. This video's title, the 27th of July, 2026, under In the Image Clothing Company's main site, spoken by me, Evan Strong, the founder, the leader, for life, in the Image Clothing Company. But the title is, one side of the body accommodates for the other side. And so, if we have one side of the body externally rotating, the other side will internally rotate. If we reach one arm forward with a palm up at the hand, that's external rotation, and the other side of the body will actually internally rotate to just keep us stable. Because on Earth's vertical gravity pull, we've got a center line to the pull of gravity. But not only that, as I was saying earlier in the intro to this video, on the 27th of July, 2026, okay, under In the Image Clothing Company's main site, titled, One Side of the Body Accommodates for the Other Side, the center line of our body is meshed with Earth's vertical gravity pull. And so, sitting on the ground like I am here, here's the wind. Wow. You just can't escape it. You cannot. That's insane. Can I pout for the rest of my life about the things that I have to deal with, just trying to do what I need to do? Please? Wow. Just for the sake of the noise is the point. It's windy and noisy. I'm trying to document permanent pieces of truth about every human body who has one, and everyone who has a body, this universal human design and how it works. I'm tucked up in the corner of this beautiful Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints building to get out of the wind, and then it blows after I start filming. Where are the police? This guy's screaming in the middle of nowhere. Or he doesn't even know where he's screaming, but he's in the middle of the grass. Can we get back to this? The 27th of July, 2026, In the Image Clothing Company's main site. This video's title here, One Side of the Body Accommodates for the Other Side. Well, yeah. When I'm sitting on the ground, the only vertical support of bone above the hips of the human being is the spine, in the direct center line of the body, meshing with Earth's vertical gravity pull. Okay? left and right, but also front to back. There's this even bend in the spine. Back, forward at the low back, backward at the mid back, and then forward at the upper back, which is the neck, just to keep us vertical. Okay, and have musculature activate to keep us vertical. There's this bending in the spine. You know, how much information to be given in this video? This one's insane. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. So reaching forward with one arm and external rotation like this with the palm up, the other side of the body will actually have to internally rotate with the palm down to keep the spine in the center. Meshing with Earth's vertical centered gravity pull. Okay, so what we do is actually just pivot around the center line of the body and the center of Earth's vertical gravity pull. When we put one arm forward and one arm back, we'll have the forward arm and external rotation, and the arm behind an internal rotation. The forward arm and external rotation, and the arm behind an internal rotation, because one side of the body accommodates for the other side. This video's title on the 27th of July 2026 under In The Image Clothing Company's main side. Now let's stand up. The wind is just on one of my last nerves until they'll be ending. The nerve endings, I might explode. Holy heavens. Scream about it. Scream about it. It'll help. Something, maybe. So the legs, okay, there's an internal rotation or an external rotation to the entire leg from the neutral, right? Muscles pulling on either side. So one leg forward has to be an external rotation, and the other leg backward has to be an internal rotation. One leg forward has to be an external rotation, and the other leg backward has to be an internal rotation to actually really accommodate to stay centered in the center. And we're just talking about physics and just motion. Pivoting around a center point, you know, each side has to do an opposite thing as the other side. I mean, I could do it like this. With my whole body, arms and legs, internal rotation on one side is external rotation on the other side. And then internal rotation on this side is external rotation on the other side. And the body can stay centered. Like I can keep my pelvis flat on the ground. This video is titled, the 27th of July 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main side. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. I could keep my hips or my pelvis, the bottom of my glutes or my sit bones, the ischiums, flat on the ground, and I could have external rotation on one side of my body's center line, the center line of the body meshing with Earth's vertical gravity pull, but I'd have to have internal rotation on this other side to accommodate. And now I can keep my spine centered and neutral because both sides are doing opposite things. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. And now I could flip it the other way and go external rotation on this side of my body, the left side now, and internal rotation on the right side of my body. And my spine is still centered and straight and vertical with Earth's vertical gravity pull in the middle of my body. Okay, the centered pull to gravity, but one side of my body accommodates for the other side. Just pivoting around the center line. The reason why I'm not like fully doing this is because I'm not trying to get grass stains on the rear of my pants. Well, actually on the other end of it, I'm trying not to get grass stains on the rear of my pants. My light colored pants here. Okay, so yeah, there you go, right? There's an accommodation happening with one side of the body always doing the opposite thing as the other side of the body. Okay, internal rotation on one side is external rotation on the other side. Internal, external, Okay? And now you can still be in this neutral in between your bodies, still centered. Now if we go to the other side, we'd have external rotation on one side of the body, and internal rotation on the other side of the body, and we'd still be centered. As far as the activation of muscles on both sides of the body would still be evenly opposing the center. I mean, I could do it like this. And still keep my spine straight, but one side of the body accommodates for the other side of the body. Okay? One side of the body accommodates for the other side of the body. This video is titled the 27th of July 2026 under In The Image Clothing Company's main side here. Here's the wind. So in everything we do, you know, one side of the body will do the opposite thing as the other side of the body if we're doing something specific like a rotation. So when we stand up, you're going to have the same thing happening where if we have external rotation on one side of the body, we have to have internal rotation on the other side to stay neutral. If we have external rotation on one side of the body, we have to have internal rotation on the other side to stay neutral. Okay? External rotation on the left, internal rotation on the right, you're neutral. Okay? External rotation on the right, internal rotation on the left, you're neutral. Okay? In the Image Clothing Company's main side, I'm in the shade. The 27th of July 2026 under In the Image Clothing Company's main side. I just said that twice, I know, but yeah, one side of the body accommodates for the other side. It has to. So when you're standing up, it'd be like this. If we reach down on one side of the body with one arm to do something, this is actually essentially external rotation. At the hip down to the foot, at the shoulder down to the hand, and the other side of the body will internally rotate to keep us neutral. Okay? So now you can reach down like this and do something. Externally rotated on your left side because you're internally rotated on your right side, and everything's still in the center. Reaching down on the right side, you can externally rotate with the right foot up to the hip, and the right hand up to the shoulder, and the left side will internally rotate from the foot up to the hip, and from the hand up to the shoulder to accommodate. Okay? And then you're still centered. The mailman probably thinks I'm doing some kind of like Tai Chi or something. Okay? I'm going to go back to the left side again so I can explain it thoroughly like I explained the right side here. External rotation on the left side from the foot to the hip, and external rotation on the left side from the hand to the shoulder means internal rotation on the right side from the foot to the hip, and internal rotation on the right side from the hand to the shoulder. And now we are centered. Okay? There's only one way the human body could ever work, okay? Truly. I mean, it's just a mechanical machine placed onto this rock in space we call Earth. It's just physics. It's truly just, as you were able to see there with the motion, well, yeah, hinges, levers, and rotations. Just determined by the bones connecting directly to each other and muscles only pulling to move the bones. You know, opposing muscles stabilize us in a neutral And the neutral is just the way the bones mesh together. The body just being a kinetic chain, just bone to bone to bone to bone to bone to bone, connecting through the entire body. It only could ever possibly do what it does, and that's it, you know. The feet evenly oppose the center line of the human being, gripping arches inward to keep us vertical on Earth's vertical gravity pole that meshes with the center line of the human being. And anyway, I mean, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life, there's always still a neutral to the entire body as far as just vertically standing up with opposing musculature into the center line of it. But also, yeah, not only just the vertical pull to gravity and the body as an entirety, but all the functions in the body, you know, there's a neutral. So internal versus external rotation from the foot to the hip. Internal versus external rotation from the foot to the hip. Internal versus external rotation from the hand to the shoulder. Internal versus external rotation from the hand to the shoulder. Right? I mean, there's always accommodation happening. If you notice there, I pulled my right leg up and in, activating my inner leg muscles, my adductors, to get more neutral at the right leg when I was showing my left arm. It's because I was reaching with my left arm and I was accommodating with my right leg to balance my body out on Earth's vertical gravity pole. Just doing opposing things, you know, weight-wise, really, balance-wise. Otherwise, I would maybe just fall over if I didn't move the weight of my body over. I mean, that's the point of this video's title, and that's cool because I caught that, meaning I didn't plan to do that, but I'm glad that I noticed that that happened. Yeah, reaching my left arm forward, I actually have to put my right leg out a little bit, just for the sake of the weight transfer. See what I'm saying? That's this video's title on the 27th of July 2026 under In The Image Clothing Company's main side. The body, well, that's not exactly how it's worded, but it's one side of the body accommodates for the other side. You know, it's a healthy accommodation. It's a healthy transfer of opposing functioning. It's not a compensation where the body's trying to do unnatural things to stabilize us to be able to do movements that we're not doing properly according to physics, like these universal laws outside of all of us. Like just this transfer of weight, we have to have an opposite transfer of weight to keep us centered. When we do something on one side, the other side has to accommodate. That's the explanation. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. Okay? So the thing is, when we're ever like carrying something as a human being or moving around, there's always just a neutral position to the whole body. Otherwise, parts of it will turn off. Parts of it will have to be compensating. There truly is only one way the human body could ever work. Yeah, it's all there. It's all connected. It's a mechanical machine. It's mathematical degrees of motion you can measure before the bones hit into each other. Okay? There's only one range to all the motion in the body, and it's just there from birth until we get into chronic patterning, if we do, along the way. So anytime we're moving anything in life, let me just stand up here and kind of do some motions back and forth, transferring weight, you know, from outside of the center line of my body, meshing with Earth's vertical gravity pull. Okay, in this universal human design, every body is the same, unless you're very distinctly, uniquely different, but we truly do have to do all that we can to get to the universal human design in our own individualistic cases and situations when it comes to physical functioning, because what we're doing is abiding by universal laws outside of all of us, just gravity's pull if nothing else, meshes with the center line of our bodies. So if you've got an amputation, this is a good example. Some people have this, but also just to have an understanding, even if you don't have an amputation, on how the weight transfer works in the body. Let's say one of my arms got cut off. If my left arm got cut off, I'd essentially just fall off to the right side, because now there's just more weight on the right side of the center line of my body's vertical support at the spine bones, all the little ligaments stacking to create the spine. I mean, vertebrae. There's ligaments connecting the vertebrae of the spine, which are the little bones that make up the whole spine. But this video's title, on the 27th of July 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here, one side of the body accommodates for the other side of the body. Yeah, when we're standing up and walking around, we always have to have an even balance of weight over Earth's centered vertical gravity pull. So if you did have an amputation, then one side of your body can't be there to accommodate with the weight. Like if I lean over, I know I said I was going to stand up, I probably will here in a minute or a few minutes or something, but if I lean over to my right side to reach to get something with my right arm, and my left arm just stays neutral, then I'll just fall to the right. But if I lean over with my right arm to reach something, I can accommodate with the other side, my left arm sticking out to balance out my weight. Or my left leg too. So now I can reach clear over here, yikes, and have that accommodation of weight transfer with the other side of my body so that I can reach with my right arm. My left side moves the weight off to the other side to balance me out. Otherwise I just fall over. Like truly, I just did. Like the reason I fell over is just because there wasn't enough weight on my left side to balance out or accommodate or to oppose the weight of my body reaching off to the right side. So this video is titled, the 27th of July, 2026, under In The Image Clothing Company's main site here. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. A healthy, natural accommodation is what it is. So when we're standing up and walking around and moving, even though you're only reaching over with one arm to grab something, if you're doing that, your other side has to do the opposite thing. We talk about these universal laws that exist outside of all of us that we don't have any kind of opinion over to change as human beings. Every action has an equal and an opposite reaction. And so if I take an action by moving my body off to the right side, I have to have an equal opposite transfer of weight on the other side to balance. If I reach off to my left side, I have to have an equal and opposite transfer of weight on my right side to balance. It's just about gravity. You'll never go to the gym or anywhere in your life to train your body to do something. It's impossible. Besides just the shape and length of the bones that grow by themselves within this universal human design designed by God, Jesus the Christ, and meshing with Earth's vertical gravity pull, it's impossible to do some kind of exercise routine type workout to get your body to do anything besides just the only thing it can do. The same thing it's been able to do since birth, essentially, at least since you were full grown. The body's only what it is truly just measurable mathematical degrees of hinges, levers, and rotations. And they have to just be able to work or they cannot. So when you're standing up and reaching over to grab something, what you'll see a lot of times in life is people will reach over to do something and they'll put their weight on a tabletop or a chair or a counter or lean on something else to reach over to do something. But now you're completely just changing how your body works. The only way you can actually do this, and that's not some like opinionated thing, truthfully, without altering the way the body works, because we still have to breathe. You're constantly breathing. It's the essence of human life. And it takes the entire body to some degree to stabilize in every single breath we take. We've got expansion and contraction like this. happening in these movable rib bones, like multiple inches in and out every breath we take, or at least from the full expansion to the full contraction. It's a lot of motion. The ribs are some bones in the body that actually bend. Okay, most bones, I talk about them as the founder and leader of In the Image Clothing Company for life, as being just immovable sticks by themselves that can only move where they join to another bone or another immovable stick at the joints of bones is really the only location bones can move, except the rib cage. And the ribs, you know, moving, it's taking the entire body to stabilize all this motion happening to some form, some degree, just to continue to breathe throughout our entire life, waking and sleeping life. And so you've just got to keep this even opposing side of neutrality from the center line of the body with Earth's vertical gravity pull at the spine, which the rib bones connect into on either side, left and right, to be able to breathe while you still do things in life. And so you can't support your weight on something, you're closing off your rib cage and you just can't even breathe while you do stuff as a human being. It's just a mechanical machine. There's only one way the human body could ever possibly physically, mechanically operate. It's physics. It's not some kind of opinion or approach. It's nothing to do with like fitness or exercise. It's hinges, levers, and rotations. It's the same thing with a robot made of metal or wood. It's the same thing with a vehicle like a car, a man-made machine. It's just a God-made machine. It's just a body of flesh, blood, and bone that grows by itself. There's only one way it could ever possibly physically function. So anyway, whenever you reach over to one side with your body, the other side has to do the exact equal and opposite thing, essentially. It does, truly. You know, so this video is titled the 27th of July, 2026, under In the Image Clothing Company's main side. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. So I showed some of it standing up earlier in this video, but let's just say I'm standing up and moving around. You'll just see one side of my body does internal rotation, while the other side of my body does external rotation. And then now this other side of my body will do external rotation, while this side does internal rotation. No matter what I'm doing in life, you have to have this equal and opposite transfer of functioning happening in order to just move. You grab something and you move, you put it somewhere else. There's always just two sides of the body opposing the other side, you know. I mean, even in a cartwheel, one side does external rotation and the other side does internal rotation, like this. Okay? Or one side does external rotation and the other side does internal rotation, like this. My hat almost flew off. Welcome to the air show, or the carnival ride or something. I still do have an ingrown toenail that doesn't feel so ideal, necessarily, while I do those cartwheels. Today's the 27th of July, 2026. This is In the Image Clothing Company's main side, one of our many hundreds of videos as of today's date. The 27th of July, I said it, I know, 2026. One side of the body accommodates for the other side. And so any motion that I could show or that I could do with one side of my body, you know, being the focus, the other side has to oppose it. I mean, you picture just like, yeah, anything in life. I could discuss more, but we will as time progresses. I'm here for life, as I say. Evan Strong, the founder and leader for life of In the Image Clothing Company. But this is the problem, is none of this is new. That's not a problem, but the problem is that people's bodies are in such chronic patterning in modern 2026. It's the man-made world placed onto God's natural earth. It's the man-made clothing, literal wording, anything placed onto God's design of the human being that alters it, you know? Okay, so oversized clothing, when we don't have joints of material of clothing meshing with joints of body parts, over years and years, some of these imbalances and anything else that's an imbalance we could list off, you know, for the human being just being this mechanical machine connected by bones. They're only the shape and length that they are, directly connecting, you know, through the whole body. Just like this vehicle behind me, bro. It only works how it works. But, you know, scar tissue, bone spurs, just problems, imbalances, misalignments in the body get built up over years and years and years from things like this, the literal word of clothing. This is why we're a clothing company at all, under In The Image Clothing Company, our 5-word company name here, and this is our main side. On the 27th of July, 2026, this video's title, One Side of the Body Accommodates for the Other Side of the Body. Well, yeah, oversized clothing, rotated seams in clothing, robots stitching our clothing, collar seams in clothing. Our collars need to stay centered and snug, like I was showing, the jaw musculature evenly opposing the center line of our neck, and just the neck musculature evenly opposing the center line of our neck as well. You know, supporting our bodies on Earth's vertical gravity pull. It's even on both sides, the left and the right of the neck. So we need a circle, a circumference that's even of a collar around our neck, like my necklace here, and like this collar you can see me wearing around my neck, and this top. You know, centered and snug is what our collars need to be. So, you know, we give a lot of free modifications and imbalances by anyone's design under In The Image Clothing Company. You know, In The Image Clothing Company's dreaded collar seam modification, In The Image Clothing Company's rotated seam modification. You know, we can't have seams rotating when our bodies have to stay even to be able to rotate by themselves. But anyway, pockets, zippers, buttons, seams of any kind, things heat shrunk onto the clothing in any way. You know, zippers interlock one side over the other, and that's an imbalance. So a centered zipper in the center of the body interlocking one side over the other will damage the entire body. Shoelaces, drawstrings, these are just ropes. We could tie one side over the other and twist the entire human being with a knot. You know, anything you could tie on or around the body. You take a long sleeve top and you're just not wearing it, and you put the sleeves around your waist and put one side over the other, you twist your whole body, you know, and that's just how it is. It's just physics. There's only one way the human body could ever work, and I often just sit here and yell about it. But this is what makes us credible. This is the truth. It's nothing to do with us other than an understanding. There's no kind of new information that could ever be developed on the human being, like, meaning any kind of like breakthrough of something new we came up with on how to get the body to do something. The truth is the body grows by itself. Unless you change the shape and or length of the bones within this universal human design, they just grow by themselves. There's only one way the human body could ever possibly physically, mechanically operate. It's truly just physics. It's Earth's vertical gravity pull. It's stabilizing opposing muscles in a neutral position. It's breathing, using the entire body to do that. It's every single function in the body playing into every other function in the body. You know, everywhere any of the body goes, all of it comes, and so it's all got to work proper. Otherwise, compensation happens. An unnatural, unhealthy compensation, rather than this video's title on the 27th of July, 2026. Which is natural. The title being One Side of the Body Accommodates for the Other Side. Okay? So, anyway, there you go. Okay, there's my explanation, and that's pretty thorough, actually. I would say more to come if and where, but sure, except that's, I mean, that was beautiful. I'm personally extremely grateful to be able to do this. And, you know, I yell about the surrounding sounds, the wind and the vehicles and the random noises that come up, and just the heat here in the state of Utah, the United States of America, where we're based, as in the Image Clothing Company. I love the heat, but, you know, it can be a lot. It's right around 100 degrees Fahrenheit today, and there's a desert state we live in, and so just standing out here filming these videos can be a lot, you know. I love the heat, but I'm just, you know, there's so much going into getting these documentations done is what I'm saying. And so when one does get documented like this with thorough explanations to where you couldn't possibly dispute the mathematical truth of it, you know, it's just, I'm so grateful, because this is how we are a credible company for literally ever. under In the Image Clothing Company is we've got the documentation, the longevity, and the credibility of our information and our explanations to back us up. And yeah, there you go. So thank you. Shout out to all the cars. Literally, I'm shouting out, and you know, it is what it is. I guess I didn't shout directly to the cars necessarily for most of the time. I was shouting to this air conditioning unit. At least in its general direction. Okay, so we've got 3 other sides to In the Image Clothing Company. In the Image Clothing Company Poodles. In the Image Clothing Company podcast with discussions on the gospel of Jesus Christ. We're on episode 212 as of today's date, the 27th of July, 2026. You don't have to be religious, but we're all human beings, the same thing placed on the same earth, designed by the same God. It just is what it is. Before you even get here to understand what it is, we just come to this earth. It already was what it was. Gravity pulled down on all the other human beings the same as it pulls down on your body. And not only that, but gravity pulls on everything the same as it pulls on everything else. So even our clothing, In the Image Clothing Company, yeah, the literal word of clothing, we got to watch out for that, you know. Clothing needs to be light, really. I mean, otherwise we're just carrying around extra weight than we would have to if we have clothing heavier than it would really need to be on our bodies. But yeah, the other 4th of us, In the Image Clothing Company music. We've got a lot going on there. Check it out. You know, a lot of stuff. We do a lot of things. We do a lot of stuff and a lot of things. We'll do things in person, events, you know, with the dogs, specializing in purebred, standard, large size poodles, but giving information that applies to all dogs. It's the same approach with letting dogs stay natural being our slogan as allowing the body to work here under the main side of In the Image Clothing Company. Just not altering the bodies. You know, they're supposed to work. But then, yeah, we do address situations. You know, we've got differences where we do, certainly, and then sometimes really big differences. Surgeries, deformities, amputations is one of the things I mentioned in this video. You know, injuries or whatever. And we can just have different bodies where we do, but only different from something which is the universal human design. And, you know, physics are just universal in their effect on anything. In the ways that just is what it is. It is. That's it. So truth is truth. I don't get to decide it or change it. So don't believe me, but there truly is only one way the human body could ever work. And our goal, and really what we do, truly, you know, up until today, you know, almost 2 years into the founding of In the Image Clothing Company, as of the 27th of July, 2026, since the 23rd of September, 2024, you know, that's how long we've been here so far as In the Image Clothing Company. We've got well over 600 videos on our main side of In the Image Clothing Company here alone, just discussing things like this, the anatomy of the human body in depth, you know, thoroughly explaining the actual truth of it, not like how to do some workout to catch up with something you'll never get to in all the ways you could try. No, I mean, the body just is only what it is, and so we understand it here and we show it. You know, things like the feet, they only work flat on the surface of the earth. That's the neutral from the dorsiflexion, lifting up the lever of the foot off the hinge of the ankle. Or plantar flexion, pointing down the lever of the foot off the hinge of the ankle. Zero drop, determine any brand of shoe. So it's context like this we don't understand if we're trying to get our bodies to do something that's impossible to do. They only do what they do. So thank you. Stick around. Check us out. We'll always have good clothing, but, you know, free modifications in clothing. We'll do some big things, bro. Bigger than we're already doing. Once our team builds and we get, you know, our clothing available to sell. Simple, minimal, light clothing, staying centered, fitting correct, being made in all the ways we can from 100% natural materials at least. You know, In the Image Clothing Company clothing. Thank you. And goodbye, okay? Seriously, thank you. In the image of Jesus Christ is where this body comes from. It only is what it is. And gravity, truly, pulls us into a neutral position. There's only one way the human body could ever work. Gravity also pulls us down into good posture, by the way, because the body has even mathematical opposing bends from bottom to top to stay vertical on Earth's vertical gravity pull. The ankles bend backward, the knees bend forward, the hips bend backward, the low back bends forward, the mid back bends backward, and the upper back, the neck just bends forward. I was talking about the spine through part of this video, but that's some good context to have in this. The other context on how I was able to just say that after it looked like I stopped the video is this device overheats, and so it doesn't stop until 10, 15, 20 plus minutes after I try to stop it a lot of the time, because like I said, it's hot here in Utah. I'm doing what I'm doing, bro. I'm here for life in the Image Clothing Company. Thank you. Me, Evan Strong, though, the founder. And the thing is, you know, we're a really personal company in a lot of ways, and so you'll see why I make it so clear who I am and that I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. There's a lot of beautiful, cool things to come with this, and, you know, very family-oriented kind of company, a community, if you will, in the Image Clothing community, as I've said before. And a lot of it's with the dogs. A lot of it's for the environment. A lot of it's the state of Utah specific. A lot of it's the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And you know, it is what it is.